Good evening one and all. We are going to see a new chapter, rather a new subject, that is embedded system design. Before in going deep to this, we know what do you mean by embedded system. Embedded is nothing but a combination of hardware as well as software. As our trade, that is electronics and telecommunication, is totally dependent on an embedded things, like where the system is designed, means it is designed with hardware as well as it is designed with software. So likewise, there are number of things which we are going to learn in this embedded system design. So before going in detail about this embedded system, let us see what are the objectives of this embedded systems. The first objective is that to explain the embedded system design issue. Second is that to learn the real-time operating system concepts. Third one is to understand the embedded Linux environment. And fourth objective is that to learn embedded software development and testing process. Next, we are going to see the course outcomes. That is nothing but once you have been going to learn this whole embedded system design, what output you are going to take from this subject, what outcomes you are going to learn from this subject, we are going to see. The first one is that to suggest the design approach using the advanced controllers to the real life situations. Second one we are going to see is the design interfacing of the systems with another data handling or by processing systems. Third, appreciate the engineering constraints like energy dissipation, data exchange, speeds, etc. And the last one is that to get to know the hardware and the software co-design issues and the testing methodologies for embedded systems. The next we are going to see is what kind of references or textbooks we are going to use for this embedded system design. Is like we are going to use the J.W. Valvano, Jack Gansel, V.K. Medicetti, David Simon and J.K. Ayla. These are the four reference or textbooks we are going to refer throughout the subject for the embedded system design. So going in detail about this embedded system, let us move to the introduction for what do you mean exactly by embedded systems. We can broadly define an embedded system as a microcontroller based, software driven, reliable, real-time control system designed to perform a specific task. As we all know that the basic requirement for an embedded system is nothing but a controller. We need a controller to control the systems. So for designing this particular system, we need a hardware as well as software. So likewise, to control one particular system, it should be a real-time controller system and it should be designed in such a way that it should perform only a specific task. And the second is, it can be thought as a computer hardware, a system having software embedded in it. Or either an embedded system can be an independent system or a part of large system, you can call it as. So before going in detail to this embedded system, we should know what are the prerequisite required for this embedded systems. So before proceeding with this subject in detail, you should have a good understanding of the concepts like basic electronics such as circuits, logic gates, microcontrollers and etc. And as you all have studied about these circuits, logic gates and microcontrollers in your previous classes. The next we are going to see is, we are going to go just an overview for a microcontroller. A microcontroller is made up of on a single semiconductor chip, which is also called as a single chip microcontroller. Second thing is that since a single chip microcomputers are generally used in control applications, they are also called as microcontrollers. Microcontroller contains all essential components for a microcomputer such as CPU, RAM, ROM, EEPROM, input output lines, etc. And the next is, some single chip microcontroller contains devices to perform a specific functions such as DMA channels, A to D converter, serial port, pulse width modulation, etc. So we all know what do you mean by a microcomputer, or what do you mean by a microcontrollers, where if you nowadays you all are using a cell phones. So if you consider a cell phone, that cell phone is also having a single chip in which different kinds of things, different kinds of components which are embedded onto that a single chip, which is called as a microcomputer. So to control that microcomputer to a single chip, it is called with an application called as microcontrollers. So all these controllers, like you have seen in your previous, such as that microcontroller is having CPU, it is having a RAMs, it is having ROMs, it is having EEPROMs, it is having input output lines and etc. And to get a specific outcome, that is nothing but to get a specific application out of that microcontroller, we are going to have a device, or we are going to have a specific functions of a single chip like A to D converters. Now A to D converter is nothing but analog to digital converter. Similarly, you can have an application like digital to analog converter as well. So this is nothing an overview for a microcontroller. The next we are going to see is what actually the role of microcontroller in an embedded systems. When developing an embedded system, one of the option is to base the computational hardware around a microcontroller, that is MCU, rather than MPU. Now what they are saying is like, whenever you are going to use an embedded system, we know while having an embedded system, to control that particular application, we are going to use a controller. But earlier, instead of using controller, we used to use the processors. But due to some disadvantages of that processor, we have been switched to the microcontrollers, which you have been already learnt in your syllabus, that is 8051 microcontrollers. But approaching to that attraction of both, that is microprocessor as well as microcontroller, generally we found that in different applications. Typically the microcontroller is found in the applications where the size is very low, where the power is very low, where the costs are very low. So where the features are, so the application where the size is low, power is low, cost is low, in all these features this microcontroller can be identified, this microcontroller can be used. So this is nothing but, now where you are using low size, low power, low cost, means the system is very low. So this microcontroller can be installed in an embedded system to control that particular application. So the microcontroller is different to the microprocessor in that it contains more elements of overall processing engine within one chip. Now for bringing most of the processing engine components into a single chip reduces the size and cost. If you are going to use a different tasks for each and every application, instead of that, on a single chip you can mount each and everything, and which it can be cost effectiveness as well as the size can be reduced. So this is possible only with the help of microcontroller. So let us see the basics of microcontroller. The microcontroller comprise the main elements of a small computer system, that is a single chip. They contain the memory and I/O, that is input output lines, as well as the CPU on a single chip. This considerably reduces the size, making them ideal for the small embedded systems. What actually this means is that whenever you want to handle a small things on a single hand, nowadays what we are using, that the size of each and every application, the size of each and everything should be compact. Is it not? Earlier, if you see the cell phones, according to the cell phones only, if we are going to recognize the cell phones who are the bigger size, But nowadays the cell phones are becoming compact in size, and the main advantage of this compactness is nothing but the embeddeds. And to control that compactness, or to have the smaller size, we are going to have the microcontroller, which has been mounted on a single chip. So the reduces in size is the greatest advantage of this embedded systems. But that means there are compromises in terms of performance and flexibility.